So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It's a rain day today here in Pennsylvania, so we're going to do a little experimenting inside the building. If you saw that last video, I bought a whole bunch of tongue and groove pine to go on the walls in the game room. Well, I just pulled into Ace Hardware here, and we're going to pick up a whole variety of stains and oils, and we're going to do some testing and try to figure out what finish that we're going to use on those walls. All right, we made it back to the house here. This is that white pine that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. This is tongue and groove. It finishes out at 7 1/8 of an inch. Nice wide stuff. This is without a doubt the nicest tongue and groove pine that I have ever laid my eyes on. This is really nice stuff, and most of you know where this is going to go, but if there's anyone new to the channel, I'll briefly show you what the plan here is. This building is a big garage on that side over there. Over here is going to be a big game room. We got a kitchen right here, bar, closet, bathroom, all that. But anyway, the tongue and groove pine is going to go on all the walls in here. We'll have some metal wainscoting from about the windows down. Everything else will be that tongue and groove pine. On the ceiling, we'll have liner panel. It's kind of like metal roofing, maybe just a little bit thinner. And it should look really nice. So now what Melissa and I have to do is decide on what we're going to finish these walls with. It's some beautiful wood and I don't want to screw it up. So here's what I bought so far to test out. And the reason I bought so many, well actually there's two reasons. Number one, we want a lot of options to consider. And number two, hopefully this video will help somebody else and they won't have to spend $100 on a bunch of little samples to figure out what they want. So these are all minwax products, not affiliated with them at all. We've got golden oak, golden pecan. Down here we've got polyacrylic. That is like a water-based polyurethane. Here in the front we got some cherry. You know how I like cherry. Over here I've got colonial maple, natural, and we're even going to try this special walnut. Also have some tongue oil here as well. And right here we have the pre-stain wood conditioner. Supposedly this helps out quite a bit to keep the wood from looking real blotchy. So we're going to apply this on everything first. Once we decide on which color we want, we may try a piece without this and see what it looks like as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different things to try out. What I need to do is find a decent board here that's kind of a good representation of what most of it will look like. We'll put it on the saw over there. We'll cut some maybe 8-inch or 10-inch pieces and we'll get started. All right, first we're going to try just some tongue oil. Let's see how this goes. Now none of this wood is it's not sanded or anything, but it is very smooth. Came out really nice on the molder. All right, next up we're going to try the polyacrylic. It's clear satin. I highly doubt I'll be using this, but we're going to try it out anyways. I think to do this right, you need 2 coats. After you put the first one on, you let it dry a long time. You sand it with like 220, another coat. It's a lot of work, especially when you're going to have like 2,000 feet of this stuff to do. And plus, I believe this is going to put like a kind of like a hard finish on it. You know what I mean? I like the oils and stains that just kind of soak into the wood and you can still feel real wood. Now it does say use a high quality brush to apply this. I don't exactly have a high quality brush. I've got a bunch of these Harbor Freight ones, but this will have to do for these testing purposes. I'm gonna have to go get some more light. It's kind of it's not dark in here, but you just can't really see what you're doing real well. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go with this. I know it's gonna look a little bit different as it ages, but I'm gonna have to say a swing and a miss here. But, maybe somebody wants this. Everybody has different tastes. I know that every time I use music in a video. There you have it, polyacrylic. So far, I have to say the tung oil is leading the race here. Now the rest of these, I've got 6 more pieces here. We're gonna have to use the pre-stained conditioner on it. I'll have to read the instructions again, but I think it says to apply it with a brush, wait about 15 minutes and wipe off any excess, and then you make sure you stain it within 2 hours. Boy, that soaks right in quick. This looks like it would go a very, very long way. It doesn't take much at all. So we are just about done with all the tractor pictures. I'm not sure if I'll include any at the end of this video or not. Got maybe 300 or 400 more to go. If you haven't seen yours in there yet, feel free. You can send them into pics, owtm@gmail.com within the next day or so. But I think we got most of them in. And like I said before, if you can, please send pictures in horizontal mode, not vertical, because I have to, once I put them in the editing software, I've got to crop each and every picture for it to look right. So if you can, send it in horizontal, you know, like a landscape mode. Boy, I just like wood. I do. Not a fan of drywall. You know what I mean? I like wood. Natural wood. Oh, wait, this won't take long at all to do like 2,000 feet of this. That was a joke. So while we're letting this dry, I'll tell you a little story. When I picked this lumber up the other day and I showed it in a video, I knew I would get some comments from people wondering why we didn't use some of the pine that we have here on the property. Well, there's several reasons for that. Number one, we have red pine, we don't have white pine, and I wanted white pine for inside the game room there. Number two, I don't have any way to dry it yet. I don't have a kiln yet. At some point we will, and I wanted kiln dried lumber in the game room. Number three, I don't have a 4-head molder to make it. At some point, maybe we'll get something, nothing like that operation where we were at the other day. Number four, it would just take me forever. But really the main reason is I could never make anything that nice. The guy that we bought this from has been doing this for basically his whole life. And I have finally come to the conclusion, I wasn't always like this. Sometimes it's best just to let people do what they do. You know, I know it's hard sometimes because we all get that sense of pride and accomplishment when you do something that you've never done before. But when it comes to something like this, where I need a couple thousand feet of this, I did my homework. I found the best guy that I could, got the best product that I could, and I'm thrilled with it. And I think it's all going to work out good. It reminds me of a story. This is several years ago. This is hilarious. There's this guy who lives out the road, and he's got a few coins in his pocket. He does real well. Keep that in mind when I tell you this story. And I was over at his house one day, and he had this shed built up on the hill, and it's a nice little shed. And I noticed the lights were on in it. And I said to him, I said, "Oh, you ran electric all the way up there?" He said, "Yep." He said, "I had a guy with a backhoe that wanted to do it. He wanted to charge me $400 to dig that line up to the building." And he goes, "I dug that by hand, and it took me about a month. After work each day, he'd go out there and dig through some solid shale to bury that electric line." And he was pretty proud of that. And I guess, you know, it's quite an accomplishment. But for $400, he spent a month of evenings. I look at it as he should have paid the guy the $400. There's a lot better things he could have spent that time on, but to each their own, I guess. But over the years, I have learned sometimes it's best, like I said, just to let people do what they do best. Like concrete with the hosses. When they poured this concrete up here, it's beautiful. They did a fantastic job. I've helped pour, and I've poured some sidewalks and things like that. There was no way I was going to tackle this project by myself or even with 3 or 4 friends. I just wouldn't have been happy with the results. And so I found the best guy that I could, which is definitely Tom from Concrete with the Hosses. They poured all the concrete. So that's the story. All right, now we're going to wipe off any of the excess here of the pre-stain. Doesn't seem like there's much on there at all. Then I'll wait about a half hour, we'll come back out, and we'll start staining these and see what they look like. I think I'm going to start off with the cherry, even though this is pine, but cherry is one of my favorite woods. I'd say my favorite for sure. Walnut being second. Yeah. I'm going to write on the back of these which each one was so I don't get confused as well. Okay, first up, some cherry. Next up, colonial maple. I think it finally quit raining out there. Man, we got a lot of rain today. This morning it rained real hard, and then it quit for a little bit. I didn't check the radar. I thought it was about over, but it was not. The heavy stuff came down there this afternoon. Colonial maple. I'm not positive, but I think my dad used to use a lot of colonial maple. He was real good at refinishing like old furniture and like old gun stocks and things like that. I used to help him with that. He'd buy those old oak ice boxes and then refinish them, and we'd strip them all down, you know, and then it'd refinish them. But the finishing was nice. The stripping of the 10 or 15 coats of paint on it wasn't so nice. Colonial maple, I think, is going to look similar to the cherry on this pine. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. So far, the colonial maple is looking like salmon. Kind of reminds me of salmon. We just had some for dinner the other night. Next up, we're going to try walnut. Not just any walnut. This is called special walnut. I'm not too sure about this on pine, but at least we'll see what it looks like. Who knows? Might surprise me. Well, I don't know. There's some potential here. I don't know. That's not too shabby. I'm shocked. It looks kind of nice. I kind of like that. Next up, golden oak. Every time I hear golden oak, there's a commercial that's been on the radio around here for decades, I swear. I think it's a mortgage company or something, Golden Oak Lending. And they have this song about golden oak lending. So that kind of rules out the golden oak. Well, we'll see. So far, the walnut is the big shocker here. I'm pretty surprised. And we need to get Melissa's eyes on all this too. So what do we got here? 8 different finishes and 2 people trying to decide on one. Could be interesting. This golden oak looks dark. Not too far off the walnut, really. The walnut's a little bit grayer, which you'd expect. And keep in mind, this is just one coat on everything. Golden oak, it's not too shabby either. Looks pretty nice. All right, next up, golden pecan. Or is it golden pecan? I'm not sure. I think it's pecan. Kind of looks like the golden oak, at least on the little picture on the can. I don't know. I think it is golden pecan because I can't use this. Don't like it. Not a fan. I mean, it's not ugly. It's just not my thing. Okay, so Melissa just came in and I told her don't say anything yet, but turn around for a second, Melissa. I hope she picks this one. Okay? All right, Melissa. Out of what I have done so far, this has tung oil on it. This is that polyacrylic. This is golden oak. This is walnut, colonial maple, cherry, golden pecan. This one's not done yet. Which one do you like the best?
Probably this one.
Wow, that's the one I picked.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised too. And that's just one coat on it. I mean, I'll have to figure out what we're supposed to put on it, but I like that one too. I was shocked. I didn't think the walnut would be, how about that?
These three here, these two and this one they don't look like anything.
Yeah, there's nothing on this one yet, but it's not going to look much different than that because the last one I have is natural.
Oh, okay.
But this is pretty nice.
Yeah.
What we'll do tomorrow, I'll put this natural on here, and then we'll get them out in the daylight. The lighting's not real good in here to get a good look at them right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I told them when I was putting this walnut on, when I opened it up, I'm like, I doubt this will work, and that's literally the one that
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this pre-stain, it goes on quick and easy, but as you can see, no matter which stain I use, there's none of that blotching or anything that you see in pine sometimes. So that stuff does seem to work pretty nice. So it's about what, 8:30?
Yeah.
Past our bedtime.
It's past my bedtime. And when I was putting my sweatshirt on to come over here, Hunter was carrying in a load of laundry. And I had to shut the presses off.
You shut the press off. No more sweatshirts tonight.
You know what? Working with those presses, I find after I wash my hands and stuff, I notice my hands are drier. I think just being in the heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
all right,
that's just the price you have to pay.
All right, last but not least, natural. So I think we kind of know what this is going to look like. Probably darken it up just a little. Something else I like about that walnut, you know, we'll try another coat on it in the morning. I want to make sure it doesn't get too dark. But something about that walnut, that pine, won't get that yellowish look that it sometimes does after it ages, like with this natural finish on. I think. I'm no expert at this, but if I was, I wouldn't be spending an evening doing this trying to figure out what I'm going to use. Yeah, it looks like it'll put just a little color to it, not much. But yeah, kind of what I expected for this. Hey Archie, come on in. Hey, Archie. How's it going? It's about your bedtime, isn't it? All right, here we are the next morning. We're gonna go over to the building and pull out those samples. I was hoping to get them in some sunlight so you could see them a little bit better, but as you can tell, not a lot of sunshine today. Here comes Melissa. She's just getting back. How's it going?
Good. I've learned the buttons for the window.
You learned the buttons for the window?
Yeah, so can you see in the middle console here? The 4 buttons, and the Jeep, the top, well, it's actually the Jeep's on the dashboard, but the top is for the front.
Yeah.
So the top here is for the back.
Yeah, Hunter gets those wrong. It drives him crazy because he usually knows everything.
But the bottom right, or the bottom left is the driver's side.
Yep.
Finally learned it. But I'd pull up to a drive-through and be like, oh, you know.
Wrong window.
Wrong window.
Hey, we're going to pull those samples out. We'll set them on the trailer, get one more look at them in some daylight, even though the sun's not shining.
Okay, I have some things to unload, so I'm going to back up over here.
All right. All right, so here are all the samples out in the daylight a little bit. This is tung oil, polyacrylic, cherry. I'm not sure what this one is. Colonial maple, special walnut, golden oak, golden pecan, and natural. All right, and I think so far we may try 1 or 2 more, but I think we have decided
I think so.
on the walnut. And actually Levi was up a little bit ago and I asked him and he picked that one as well.
Did he?
So it's like 3 people in agreement.
Wow.
But what we're going for inside is, you know, kind of rustic looking. I think this looks kind of older, weathered, but it'll look good with the metal that we have picked out. But I think we're leaning towards walnut.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope this video was helpful so someone else can get an idea what this will look like and they won't have to go spend $100 on a bunch of little samples to figure it out.
That's right.
Well, do you want to wrap this video up, Melissa?
Yeah, thanks so much for being here, for being a part of this. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below. We love to hear from you. Share these videos with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.